And I grew up in the city of York. I remember going past the Y and stopping after getting our hair done on Saturday. We get it fixed up, pressed and everything, or straightened for Sunday church. And I remember stopping at the Y and planting my face against the window, saying, one day I'm going to swim in that Y. And my sister would say, come on, Retta, you're never going to swim in that Y. Colored kids don't swim in that Y. Well, I proved her wrong. Because of Special Olympics, I had that opportunity to swim in that Y. And that brought joy. Just to defy, to see that I was going to be determined that I was going to swim in that Y. And when I first got into running, she was against me running. She didn't want me to run. I would go run. My rule was to run around the projects and did not go out the Parkway projects. Well, I would extend that run, and I would extend it a couple streets over, and somebody would come, I saw Loretta on Front Street. I said, but Front Street is the projects. And I was determined that I was going to run. Did I have marathons in my mind at that time? No, I was just fighting to be able to do something that I could do, because a lot of kids I could not play with. Because of intellectual disability, I wasn't smart enough. Everything was about the book. And to me, all I wanted to do was be a part of the group.
For me, yes, there was a lot of prejudice. As you know, I'm now living in Tennessee. My father took me out of Tennessee because he did not want me growing up here. I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. Guess where I live now? I'm back in Tennessee, and the reason is to fight the prejudice that is occurring down south. And yes, it is still occurring. There's some fights that I've been able to transition into and fight here in civil rights issues that I'm really involved with.
I remember going to school fighting the principal, can we run on the track? No, you don't run on the track. The girls run in the hallway. And then finally, when they passed Title IX, we had a track team. It was me who went out and fought to get the school track team, but also been told we don't want retards on this team. So it was tough. It had a double-edged sword, not only being a Black woman, but being a Black woman with an intellectual disability. So that kind of cut me away from sport, but I still ran on the team. And I remember, like we always said, there's always somebody who picks you up. And I remember Mrs. Kasiba said, if anybody belongs on this team, Loretta belongs on this team. She was the one that went out and broke her back and raised the money so that we could have this girls' track team, which is a student activity.
I was introduced to sports in the first grade, and I was a little shy at first, but eventually grew to like it. Originally, I started competing in the 50-meter dash and graduated to the 200-meter dash in the fourth grade. I started soccer in 2004. That is still my favorite sport. All thanks to Tim Howard, who is a biracial professional athlete and a former goalkeeper for the U.S. men's national soccer team. Has been a big influence for me. He's the reason why I play goalie. I feel I can relate to him because of all the challenges that he has had to overcome in his career, including a disability, which is known as Tourette's. When I was younger, I was picked on a lot in school. So his story has really inspired me. One of the best things about sports and my Special Olympics experience has been making friends. Without my soccer team, I wouldn't have one of my best friends, Eric Weller.
Talking about Arthur Ashe and what he had to go through to play tennis it was just awful. And I remember watching him on TV, and who would ever thought that I would receive that award? And one of the sports I play now is tennis.
Okay.
So, and I love it. I have this thing that I go up to this park, and there's a backboard there. And one time at Special Olympics at State College, somebody says, what tennis club do you belong to? And I looked at him, I said, the Farquhar Park Ghetto Backboard Tennis Club. The number of members, 1. The backboard always wins. But I look at the people who had an impact to me, and like I said, it was my brother who got me started. Eunice Kennedy Shriver has an impact to me for what she's done for people like me to be able to play sport. Because there was a time where people like me and Jesse were all hidden away in institutions or hidden in the bottom of your house. You weren't supposed to be seen, let alone play on sport. And when she said, I'm going to, these games were for people like you, I didn't think they would be here today. And here we are, 53 years later?
I think that with Brittany, what happened with her and the deaths this summer, the Black Lives Matter marches, the coronavirus, the differentiation, the economic differences, it really has peeled back to show in terms of this country really needs to deal with some racial injustice. And Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, it really has peeled off the scab of a wound, and it really has emerged itself. And I think in all types of different areas, there needs to be work and address to it.
But even still today, you'll run into somebody, and I used to get really angry and would want to fight them. But nowadays, I just look at him and go, shut it off, wipe it off. And I'll just look at him and say, I remember one time growing up, and a girl across the street from me, she's a white girl, every time I walked by, she had a snarky name to call me. So my mom didn't tolerate, us fighting. And then one day I just turned around, I said, look who's sitting in the sun trying to get like me. I said, I'm Black and I'm proud. And I just walked away from her because I knew she was instigating a fight. I said, I have to sit in the sun. I said, obviously I must be who you would like to be, and walked away from her.